everyone, hope you're all well and that lockdown isn't getting the better of you. Today I want to take a look at Bad Education, which is the latest drama directed by Corey Finley, and it tells the true story of what's been cited as the biggest school embezzlement scandal in US history. And just for clarification purposes, this film isn't anything to do with Jack Whitehall. It's a much more intense drama about numerous cash embezzlements that happened in 2004 at a high school in Long Island, New York. And the film essentially centres on Hugh Jackman's character, much beloved school superintendent Dr. Frank Tassone, who on the surface is excellent at his job. Like in the first 10 minutes or so, we discover that he makes a real authentic effort to get to know all the members of his faculty, and he makes a conscious effort to meet all his students personally. He does this all while running a book club. He's super charismatic and clearly highly intelligent. He's altogether just a little bit too good to be true, and that's because he's actually taking a slice out of the school finances with the help of Allison Janney's character, Pam Gluckin, who is Frank Tassone's assistant superintendent on the school admin board. What makes this particular dramatisation stand out is that it offers a pretty unique account of events, as the writer Mike Makowski was a student that actually went to Roslyn High School while the events depicted were taking place. And you can tell from the writing that he was close to the story, or at the bare minimum sort of within the blast radius. So the film feels like it wouldn't have been told as effectively by any old Hollywood writer, and it definitely benefits from having somebody close to it. It makes it feel more lived in. With that, when that's sort of twinned with great performances, it's something thoroughly enjoyable and consistently gripping. So regardless of what I think about it, it's definitely going to get Emmy consideration, and HBO very purposely sunk $17.5 million into the project to secure distribution rights, and it'll be an important subscription holder for sure now that Game of Thrones is firmly in the rearview mirror. Unfortunately, it'll miss the Oscars because it's a TV movie, so to speak, even though it's better than an array of theatrically released films that have won awards. And ultimately, I won't be surprised if Hugh Jackman wins his first Emmy, or Allison Janney adds another one to her already populated cabinet. Jackman's performance as this exuberant head of schools and leader of the local community has been really well researched and realised, and Allison Janney's character is equally engaging as an assistant that's equally morally complex and flawed in numerous ways. When the film's not centering on these characters, it takes the perspective of the somewhat fictional character Rachel Bargava, who's a writer at the school paper, played by Geraldine Wiswanathan. And from a script writing perspective, the purpose of the character is to generate drama in her investigation of the school's expenditures. Weirdly, I'm thinking of Bohemian Rhapsody when I was watching it, or any biopic for that matter. And those types of films usually meddle with the chronology of events to make the final act more engaging. And to this film's credit, it felt a lot more organic than a lot of biopics, even though I don't think the Rachel character actually exists. From a bit of light research, I found out she's more of an amalgamation of a couple of different people, but as a movie, it's a roundabout way of making the film more intense. The only slight downside is that character isn't as well developed as Jackman or Janney's, who really takes the limelight. It's a small nitpick in what is for the most part a thoroughly enjoyable drama with some moments of levity. So they get the tone right, and that manages to keep you locked into a story that's about stealing taxpayers' money, which could be very dry if it wasn't executed properly. Fundamentally, the film's a really interesting study in how a bunch of people that seemingly care about the welfare of their students start to corrode over time, and the film dances in this grey area very effectively. You can't help but be charmed by Dr. Tassone's character and charisma. Like on the surface, he seems really invested in the school and its pupils, and his actions indicate that he'll drop whatever strenuous task he's occupied with to help a child understand something. Whenever you can speak about a character in such a multi-dimensional way, it shows a real effort's gone into understanding their inner psychology. And between the writing and Hugh Jackman sort of being a natural performer, it's a real glorious thing to watch come together. There's a scene in which Jackman's character bumps into a man who's an ex-student from the Roslyn School, and he's really interested to hear about their livelihood since their departure from education, which sort of starts up an interesting B story. But crucially, from Jackman's performance, you feel that this was a man that loved their job, which makes their inevitable downfall all the more tragic. But obviously it's not tragic because he was a scumbag who orchestrated this incredible crime in the middle of a more suburban area of New York. If anything, it makes you feel conflicted, and I love it when films manage to achieve that. And crucially, Hugh Jackman again proves that he's a really versatile performer. He's come such a long way since the first X-Men film, and every time he's on screen you're really anchored to the story. You can tell he was really invested in understanding the motivations of this very complicated man. And secondly, the film's a brilliant screenplay, which feels like a story that only this ex-student could have really told. It's certainly one to watch. I think it's in my top 10 as far as 2020 is going at the moment. Yeah, I'll have to create a video on that soon enough. But yeah, that's all from me today. Check out Bad Education where you can. If you've got a VPN, you can jump to it right now. But if not, it'll be released in subsequent months, I'm sure. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Drop me a like. I'd love it, and it gives me support. And yeah, thanks. Bye.